Well, welcome. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Nada St. Germain, and this talk tonight on hormones is probably one of the reasons why I started looking at Neolife as a company. For my mom as well. My mom was not well 35 years ago, and I was in my early 20s and I was really struggling. I was working as a police officer right downtown Toronto, and I always had struggles with my cycles, PMS, fatigue. But when I started working shift work, it got really, really bad. But I think what happens when you're in your 20s, you just kind of go on adrenaline and you just go. But it got to a point where I was really, really struggling. I knew I had to try something. And my mom, who was struggling with her fibromyalgia and a lot of pain throughout her body, and allergies as well, I knew that she had to do something different. And she was trying supplements and nothing worked. So that's why I didn't really have a lot of faith in the area of supplementation. But a neighbor and a dear friend had really good results with these whole food supplements. And I was curious. So we decided to give them a try. And I even said to my mom, I said, Mom, let's just try and see. I said, Florence is getting results. Maybe there's something different. And boy, let me tell you, it's been 30, actually, yeah, over 35 years now. And the difference in my hormones, hormonal balance, energy, I feel younger in my late 50s than I did when I was in my 20s and 30s. But what was really interesting is in a very short time, the hormonal balance just came so quickly. And I'm so excited to share how and why and how these products work. And we have Rachel, which is one of our newest holistic nutritionists on our team, that's going to be helping me with the presentation tonight. And Mary Ellen is in Florida. She's another holistic nutritionist on our team, and she's going to be listening in tonight. But I have to say that when you look at PMS and all the challenges that we have as women with moods and things that come along with hormonal imbalances like acne and just cramping and bloating and pain. These are just some of the challenges. But I have to say that men have hormones too. So I'm not saying that they're going to have some of this PMS and bloating stuff happening, but they do get some symptoms also related to hormonal balance. So this is something that you can definitely share with the men in your life as well. And we are going to be talking about the three keys. Okay. So definitely weight management comes into play, a healthy diet, good food choices, and also physical activity. So these are some of the things that also help in helping or help to keep our hormones balanced and regulated as well. But I'm going to have Rachel start the evening off because she has an incredible journey when it comes to hormones and thyroid issues. And Rachel, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me to speak, Nada. Um, so as you can see there, I'm a former registered nurse. I worked in that area for about 8 years before I transitioned to nutrition, which was about 5 years ago now. And I really made that shift um, to support my own health journey. I was diving deep into nutrition and lifestyle things because conventional medicine really wasn't addressing all the things that I was struggling with. It was a number of digestive issues, infertility, hypothyroid, blood sugar swings, you name it. I was struggling, and through that, that journey, I really found that that I wanted to help people, and doing doing it in the hospital capacity just it wasn't working for me. So that's really why I transitioned into holistic nutrition. And I've now found my passion is really with that hormone balance piece, and all that comes with that, which a big part of is the sugar cravings. So um, love talking about hormones. And yeah, so one of the big changes that we saw, positive changes that we saw in 2019 was the changes to the Canada Food Guide. And um, one of the big things that we really saw was the focus on making water that drink of your drink of choice, really focusing on the fruits and vegetables, proteins, and then whole grains. And we're going to get into the whole grains a little bit more in detail, but one of the challenges that we find is that a lot of the products in the grocery stores that that we think are whole grains really are not. So that's definitely something that I want to touch on tonight, because it's important to understand that there's been a lot of back and forth in terms of grains. You know, we've demonized them. There's certain groups of people that that really say that we should restrict the consumption of grains. And this has become really popular, but this might be helpful for certain people. However, the research does clearly show that many healthy societies really benefit from the consumption of grains. And if we look back at many of our ancestors, it can be argued that the cultivation of grains has allowed for civilizations to really thrive and open the doors for our ancestors to live these long and healthy lives. So we know that whole grains provide us with B vitamins. There's iron, magnesium, zinc, and other minerals in it. So we just have to be careful about how these grains are actually making their way to our table. We have to treat them appropriately, and that has a lot to do with how they're processed and how they actually go from a grain to the foods that we're eating. So one really good example of this is of a traditionally prepared grain would be like a sourdough bread. And that is going to be speaking a little bit more to how our grains have been disrupted. So yeah, so I think that it's also important to understand that it's not just our physical health that we need to be thinking about when it comes to what we're putting in our body. It's really, really important to address our mental health. And in 2010, and there's been many more studies since then, it's been shown that women who have diets that are high in vegetables and fruits, fish, and as well as whole grains are much less likely to suffer from depression and other mental health disorders.
And this is the challenge, right, Rachel? They used to, right, grow wheat, grind the wheat to make the flour and make the breads, and our breads were whole. The nutrients were still in the grain, but the shelf life wasn't very long. And they've discovered that if they remove and mill these critical oils from the grain, that they can make our foods have a longer shelf life. So we have mass production, longer shelf life. They remove the outer layer and all the precious oils and all the critical nutrients, and you're left with this kind of white flour, starchy, protein, gluten product that many people today have struggles with digesting, assimilating, breaking down. And the nutrients are just not there. And this is what opened my eyes, especially what they're removing, these lipids and sterols, these good fats that they've removed are critical for hormonal balance. And I'm going to have, there's a nutritionist, a dietitian actually in Africa that does an amazing talk on the importance of these lipids.
Neolife has what you need to feed, renew, repair, and protect your cells by bringing back the balance to your diet. So many people these days are concerned about their lack of energy and vitality, and that the number one complaint that physicians hear is, "I'm so tired of feeling so exhausted." Many factors contribute to these circumstances, but crucial evidence is pointing to a phenomenon understood by food scientists all over the world, that important and life-sustaining nutrients are missing from the modern day diet. Critical nutrients have become difficult to access, and sadly, some have been stripped from our foods in the name of mass production, prolonged shelf life, and the convenience of fast foods. The health status of most people today can be seen in this simple graph. You are born and start to grow into adulthood, and very soon, unless you're getting the right nutrients, your body begins to move from the energetic zone into the tired and eventually the sick zone. We are now seeing that most people are reaching these zones much earlier in life. Some years ago, Neolife scientists discovered that certain nutrients could supercharge our energy levels. Now, although they are readily available in our food supply, very few of us are getting enough of these nutrients, and most of us know nothing of their invigorating power. These nutrients rejuvenate energy production inside the cell, the ultimate source of your health, well-being, and long-term vitality. How does this work? To appreciate how this works, it's beneficial to understand some basics about the human body. The body is made up of trillions of tiny cells. Each of them is a powerhouse of energy which needs to be fed properly every single day. If the cells are unhealthy, the body is unhealthy. Every cell has a membrane which contains vital nutrients, some of which are lipids and sterols. This membrane is needed to maintain the cell structure and absorbency to let critical nutrients in and unwanted toxins and waste matter out. Lipids and sterols are essential fats, meaning that for normal body function, they either cannot be made by the body or cannot be made in adequate amounts, enough for good health, and therefore must be provided by your diet. These essential lipids and sterols are found in our whole grain foods, which have been a staple of the human food chain since the beginning of time. These fats are found in the outer layer of grains, rice and soy, the very elements that are processed out of our foods. These nutrients are converted into energy, giving the cell the power to perform its function. Without these essential fats, the cell membrane becomes compromised, and this process produces toxins which cannot be eliminated from the cell and out the body. What has happened to our diet over time? The healthy diet plate shows the average kind of balance that our diet should reflect. Most of our diet should be made up of a combination of whole grains, fruits and vegetables, proteins, as well as good fats. Unfortunately, today's unhealthy eating habits show that refined carbohydrates and proteins are consumed the most, and whole grains, fruits and vegetables are consumed the least. Modern day grain processing removes these lipids and sterols and other vital nutrients from our grain foods, which has resulted in a chronic global deficiency. Remember, diet is what you eat, and proper nutrition is what gets absorbed at cellular level. Bad fats and oils, commonly known as saturated and trans fats, found in, for example, butter and margarine, have the opposite effect on our cell membranes, causing them to solidify, become unhealthy, and unable to function optimally. This is important for a very simple reason. If your cell does not receive and process these nutrients it needs, your body will remain tired and in the sick zone of health. But there is a solution that is a whole food based and backed by science that will empower you to a life of abundant health, vitality, and energy. That simple yet unique solution is the powerful formula known as Treonine grain concentrates. Neolife identified this gap early on and has spent many years of research seeking an answer to this problem. Neolife has since become a pioneer in the area of cellular nutrition. Research was conducted by the Neolife team of doctors, nutritionists, and food scientists, and this resulted in the formulation of essential fats that were extracted from 3 whole grains: wheat, rice, and soy. A series of studies conducted at Texas A&M University confirmed that the nutritional benefits of Treonine are far beyond expectations, classifying it as a superior supplement. Treonine has been scientifically and clinically proven to increase the absorption of utilization of nutrients by 50%, enhance cardiovascular development, and have a strong cardioprotective effect. It has also shown to show a greater adrenal activity, which increases energy levels and improves responses to stress, and optimize overall growth and development. And a Danish study has shown that whole grain consumption may lower the risk of heart attacks by 25% in men and 27% in women. Therefore, To ensure proper nutrition at cellular level, we need a balanced diet, and with a Neolife supplement TreaNN, we can optimize nutrient utilization. Since being developed, globally TreaNN is the first and only whole grain food-based supplement of its kind on the market. It has transformed the lives of millions of people who have experienced renewed energy and vitality, with a dramatic reduction in illnesses and an overall improvement in their health and well-being. TreaNN is a supplement every household should have.
And that's the story of TreaNN. You know, when I looked at this 35 years ago, I didn't understand the language. And I just thought, I got to try this and see. And boy, let me tell you, the difference that that product has made in my hormones, it was incredible. And when you look at the research, I found this old research report. And, you know, it's interesting how Formula 4 was a multivitamin that was launched in 1958. And this was one of the documents. And they talked about how the TreaNN grain concentrate story is one that has transpired over 4 decades. So the original formula was developed around a hospital studies that was performed in the 1940s. So this is an incredible product. These lipids and sterols contains these grain oils with no gluten, and it just impacts people's lives. And the studies that they had done was on adrenal activity, estrogen activity, and that's why we're focusing on hormones tonight, because this really is one of the foundation products that really helps with your estrogen and all of your hormones and your glands. So there's so much science behind this product. And when you look at the rich heritage going back to 1958, this is what the product looked like back in 1958. But what's really interesting is the formula has not changed. This product is 66 years old and it's still impacting people's lives all over the world. And Jeannie Aldridge, her husband, was the first customer to buy the first bottle of TreaNN in 1958. I met Jeannie. I sat down with her and I asked her to write out her story with me. And she was bedridden with rheumatoid arthritis. And her husband came home with TreaNN. And after consuming this product in high amounts, let me tell you, and she even said to me, Nada, TreaNN didn't cure my rheumatoid arthritis. She goes, TreaNN gave my cells the nutrients they needed to function properly so that my body can reduce inflammation in the body. She lived an incredible, abundant life up until her 90s. And I have to say that TreaNN was one of her favorite products and became mine as well. But when you're looking at supplementation, you know, and taking supplements, who do you trust? There's so many products out there, and there's a lot of studies that have been done where they found inactive ingredients, unsafe ingredients. You know, there was even a study that went back when I first looked at Neolife that was published out of Guelph University, and they found so many products that what was on the label was not in the bottle. So when you look at Neolife, and I looked at this company, I found that I could trust the company. First of all, they've been around since 1958. They've never had a recall since 1958, established in over 50 countries. They are a pioneer in the industry, and they have the most respected scientific research team. And they stay within the human food chain. It's all made from whole food and non-GMO since 1958. This is really, really important. Every plant or animal sourced ingredient, they can actually, it's identity preserved, so they can tell you right back to the original seed stock, when that the seed was planted, when the nutrients were extracted, right back to the original seed stock. So it's pretty powerful. And the team of scientists and doctors that we have on our team are world-renowned scientists and nutrition experts. They're active, published, and very well respected. They work together as a team. They don't just endorse the product. So many scientists out there just endorse. They let the company use their name. But Dr. Arthur First, he was the head of our scientific advisory board for over 25 years. He founded the Stanford Cancer Chemotherapy Laboratory. He was credited with being the founder of oral chemotherapy. He led the Neolife Scientific Advisory Board for 25 years. PhD in chemistry from Stanford, a doctor of science from the University of San Francisco and a diplomat of the Academy of Toxicological Sciences. This is a distinction that's held by fewer than 100 scientists around the world. But he shifted his focus to prevention and ending the trend of chronic disease. He knew that our food and diet played a critical role, but he knew we just weren't eating enough of those right foods, especially when it came to whole grain and milling and processing. And this is Mary Ellen and I. This is going back to probably over 25 years ago. We hung out with Dr. First. So these scientists, they're part of our team. They come to our events and we learn from these guys. Like I said, they don't just endorse. They're involved in doing the research and developing and manufacturing our products. And the publications, we're published in the world's most prestigious peer-reviewed scientific journals. And that's third-party credibility, and that's really important as well when you're looking at studies that are being done. And I know, Rachel, being a nutritionist, I know, Mary Ellen, I mean, you guys know the challenges that we have with taking supplements.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nada, you know that when I first heard about Neolife a few years ago, I dismissed the company and just kind of brushed them off. And then when I was reintroduced to them again this year, I was really intrigued by the research and the science that goes into the products. And of course, I had to do some more research on my own before I was really open to understanding how this company really is different. But one of the things that I had kind of talked about at the beginning was all the struggles and the challenges that I had gone through. And even as a nutritionist, I thought I was getting my supplements from good companies, but I didn't really notice any dramatic difference in a lot of my symptoms. So one of them was the thyroid, and when the thyroid isn't working properly, we're looking at two different things. So either hyperthyroid, where there's too much of thyroid hormones, or hypo, where there's not enough. And hyper is a very small amount, whereas the hypo is what we more often see, especially in women. So as you can see there, you know, about 40 or 50% of women in our population are struggling with hypothyroid. And within this, like, a big portion of that are undiagnosed. So they might have, they're experiencing symptoms, but they don't have an official diagnosis. So really unfortunate that this is so rampant in our society. So some common signs of hyperthyroid you can see there on the slide. So some of the more common ones, you know, tiredness, constipation, anemia is really tied into that. Just feeling cold and tired all the time. Infertility, which is a big one, and that's a big part of my story that I struggled with when I was trying to conceive my first child. And what we really see with this is that with hypothyroid, in terms of our metabolism, we see a slowing of our metabolism. So we're going to see this reflected as that weight gain, that constipation, and then, of course, these downstream effects of other hormones like cortisol, insulin, and our growth hormone. And then particularly when it comes to those reproductive hormones, if our thyroid isn't working properly, then it's going to affect our menstrual cycle, fertility. So we really need to understand what we can do to support that thyroid from a variety of kind of angles, because one other big thing that we see is that even if our blood work shows that our levels are in the normal range, if we're not feeling good, then it doesn't really matter what the blood work is saying. We're not optimized to be supporting our overall wellness. So one of the other things that that really impacts this is something that Serena is going to talk about, I think.
Yes, dear Serena. I think she's on tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, yes, thanks for asking me to share. Um, I was introduced to Neon Life about 7 years ago, and about 4 years ago, I started struggling with my own health. It kind of reminded me of that little graph in that video where, you get to a certain age and you feel really healthy, and then all of a sudden, your health starts to decline. And I was really struggling with exhaustion and just so tired all the time, and brain fog and weight gain. Anyway, I started on some basic products, and within a couple of weeks, the brain fog started going away and the weight started coming off and my energy started coming back. And I was really intrigued, because after being to my doctor and then telling me that everything, was fine, I really didn't feel fine. And I was so thankful that Neolife and their products were able to help me feel, great again. And so I started listening in on a lot of these Zooms because I found it really amazing that nutrition was so healing. I really, I knew it was always good, but I had no idea what an impact it could make on our health. So I started listening and learning more. And I actually did go back to school myself to take a course similar to holistic nutrition called functional nutrition. And there was some information that I learned in that course that I just wanted to share a little bit tonight. And that's something called xenoestrogens, or xenoestrogens, some people would say. But basically, what xenoestrogens are is they mimic estrogen, and they're man-made chemicals that are found in so many things that we just have no idea. And when I started learning about this, I was really awestruck. I had no idea. And when I read this, I thought this is something that we all need to know this. So anyway, some of the sources that these, estrogens can be found in are things like plastics, like our food storage and beverage containers, pesticides, herbicides, even found in our water systems, because these they leak into our water systems and we drink that. Canned foods, receipts, printers, hair dyes, nail polish and removers, cosmetics, all of our body care, shampoo, conditioner, laundry products, air fresheners, perfumes, sunscreens. The list really goes on and on. It's actually really quite overwhelming. But some of the health risks of these xenoestrogens are things like cancer, particularly breast cancer and prostate cancer, which we see, on the rise all the time. Excuse me. Infertility also, because of the hormonal imbalance that it's causing. Obesity, diabetes, and thyroid, like Rachel had mentioned. So we can just start by reducing some of these things, in our world, and it can make us a lot healthier. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And what about our adrenals, Rachel? I know there's a lot of stuff going on as well. I know I had adrenal gland exhaustion, and the TRIN was one of the things that really helped me.
Yeah, I mean, the adrenal glands produce cortisol, which I think that, in general, cortisol is kind of demonized now, but we actually do benefit from cortisol. We need it, but we only experience health when it's produced in the right amounts at the right time. So when our adrenals are overworked, or if we're facing what some people call adrenal fatigue, this becomes dysregulated, and then we have all these downstream effects that create a variety of problems. So like blood pressure issues, it can affect the production of our reproductive hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. And yes, ladies do need testosterone too. It's actually, we have greater amounts of testosterone in our body than we do estrogen and progesterone, even though those are the ones that are talked about more. And then it also affects the functioning of the thyroid, which I've also already talked about. So some of the symptoms of adrenal fatigue, you might not necessarily know that that you're experiencing it, are things like you fall asleep fine at night, but then you wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning and just can't get back to sleep. That low thyroid, just feeling tired, exhausted all the time, low blood sugar or blood sugar swings, not being able to handle alcohol, pain, specifically back pain, or having kind of feeling weak in your legs. Blood pressure issues, which I already talked about. It could be low or high. Allergies, asthma, and other inflammatory conditions, feeling nervous or anxious all the time, again, having trouble sleeping, and then craving those stimulants. So that could be coffee, sugar, the combination of both, really feeling a need to have a lot of salt all the time, or using alcohol. And then we can also see changes in our skin pigmentation, so some dark spots. And then when it comes to breathing, so just feeling like that need to sigh all the time, or even feeling short of breath. And then the last couple, like recurring infections, where you're just feeling like you're always sick, and something, you get over one thing and then you're kind of coming down with something else. And then digestive problems. So this could be constipation, or it could be going the other way, and diarrhea. And then if we're look at low iron symptoms, so some of these kind of overlap, but other things that we might see with low iron are issues with our fingernails, so really brittle fingernails that peel, feeling our heart beating like uncontrollably, some dark circles under our eyes, fertility problems. Again, some of these overlap. Hair loss, premature graying of our hair, not being able to concentrate, really pale skin, heavy periods. Again, there's that thyroid coming up, feeling cold all the time, restless legs, not feeling like you can catch your breath, or that breathlessness with exertion, where is in the past you wouldn't have experienced that. So we know that Canadians need about 20 milligrams of iron a day, but the average Canadian's really only getting about 8 milligrams.
So talking about all this, Rachel, we have something called a hormone recipe. It's like baking a cake, right? You can't have, you can have flour and eggs and butter and, everything you need to bake a cake. But if you're missing the flour, you can't really make the cake, right? So these are all the key nutrients that help to balance and regulate our hormones. And we've talked about some of these already. We've talked about the lipids and sterols, vitamins, trace elements, minerals, omega-3 fatty acid, and protein. So these are the key nutrients that we're going to be talking about now. And if you're lacking or weak or missing one of these, you're not going to have optimal health, especially when it comes to regulating and balancing your hormones. And these are the things that I looked at, and the difference it made was amazing. And when I added the Neolife Shake, the protein, to my regime with the Trianen, the difference was amazing. I didn't really understand the importance of protein, but boy, did I learn. And what's nice about the Neolife Shake, it's a complete protein. It has that glycemic control response, and Rachel talked about the lows and the highs. It has your vitamins and minerals. It has your whole food antioxidant. It's a complete meal replacement, and it's fabulous for our heart and also for cholesterol, things like that. But when you're looking at the Neolife Shake, a lot of people have this kind of misconception about soy. And, they say that soy is not good for your hormones and it can cause cancer. And well, I've talked to our scientists over and over again, and they have produced so much research and evidence. And, that soy, good quality soy, is critical. It's good for you. And, even in some of these countries, like in Shanghai, they did a soy intake in 5,000 breast cancer survivors, found a decreased risk of death and 32% decrease in reoccurrence of breast cancer. And this is from MD Anderson, which is one of your cancer organizations. And, they made a powerful statement that soy may benefit breast cancer survivors. We have gone from saying no soy for breast cancer survivors to it's not going to hurt, to now it looks like we can say it may help. So they've really realized the importance of good quality soy. And women with breast cancer who eat more soy are less likely to die or have a reoccurrence of cancer than who eat few or no soy products, according to a new study. And that was in the Journal of the American Medical Association. So again, there's even more research now coming forth on this, and even Stanford School of Medicine. They say that soy is something that's really important for prevention, and they're saying it's so fine. The challenge is, you got to be careful. Where are you getting your soy? What foods are you eating that contain soy? Most of our soybeans are genetically modified. So it's kind of a challenge finding a good quality soy. And these are the most common foods that are genetically modified. And even a lot of our salmon and fish now is genetically modified. So it's kind of scary when you look at what's going on. But protein, amino acids are critical for hormonal balance. And that's why that Neolife shake is amazing, because it contains all 22 amino acids. It helps with digestion, fights infection and disease, helps to balance and regulate your hormones and the collagen in your skin. Protein are the building blocks, and also regulating blood sugar as well. But I'd love to have Joan, a former registered nurse as well, and a breast cancer thriver, share her journey and her story on how these products have really helped her. I'd like to say age gracefully over many, many years. So Joan, welcome.
Thank you, Nada. Thank you for inviting me to share my story. I am so grateful for these products, especially the protein, especially with the soy, because I know it's been protective. I was diagnosed with breast cancer 32 years ago. And after my treatment, I realized that I had to boost my immune system and my energy level. And that's when I was introduced to Neolife. And I was really drawn to the science behind the products and the fact that the products were clinically proven. So I decided to try some of the products. And within a few weeks, I felt a huge difference in my energy level. And with regards to my immune system, I didn't get sick as often. And if I did, it was just for a day or two. And one of the other things too, I had seasonal allergies for years, like in spring and the fall. And after my immune system got stronger, I no longer have those allergies. And up to today, I don't have those allergies. So it's a sign that my immune system is stronger. And so, so those are the things that showed me that my immune system was stronger. And, right after surgery, I was really concerned about recurrence. Most people do, after you've had a diagnosis. And by using these products, I had the confidence, right? In addition to, making changes in my lifestyle, as Serena mentioned, in terms of the xenoestrogens, because my cancer was hormonally mediated, so it's mainly lifestyle. And so I changed, reducing stress, finding strategies to deal with my stress, and I avoided environmental toxins in my foods, in my environment, by using the Neolife products, the cleaning products as well too. And by making these changes, I realized I was doing my best to reduce my risk of a recurrence. So I'm so grateful to be able to call myself a 32-year breast cancer thriver. And I feel better today in my late 60s.
She just had a birthday.
Not just late 60s than I did in my 30s. And this information here is so critical, I guess, in terms of, I wish I knew this before, but so that it can help people be more proactive. And I'm so grateful. And thank you for asking me to share my story.
Thank you so much, Joan. I know you're impacting people's lives, and you're building an incredible team now, and being able to leave your take early retirement from nursing and just truly impacting people's lives. So thank you so much for joining us. And I know you probably thank Mary Ellen every time you see her for introducing you to these amazing products. So that's awesome. And so some of the solutions are to fill the nutritional gaps. And we talked about the grain oils, and this is one of the products called Pro Vitality that contains those essential lipids. And there's four products in this little packet that we're going to be focusing on tonight. But this is a great little multivitamin pack, and it contains that powerhouse of those grain oils that contain those lipids and sterols. And there's a multivitamin in there as well. There's a fruit and vegetable product called carotenoid complex for immune system that Joan talked about. And this is all made from your dark colored fruits and vegetables. It just protects you. It's made from tomatoes, carrots, spinach, apricots, broccoli, peaches. So all made from whole food. Because I don't know too many people that are eating 5 to 13 servings of fruits and veggies every day. So this just helps to fill those nutritional gaps. And then there's our omega-3s. Omega-3 also plays a really key role in hormonal balance as well. It has all 8 omega-3, the Neolife salmon, tested for 200 contaminants with an allowance of 0, and clinically proven to reduce inflammation 68% in just 8 weeks. So again, just another product in that little packet to fill the gaps that are missing in your diet. And when you're looking at omega-3s, I mean, they do so many things in the body, but they're also, you got to look at the source. When a pregnant mom is consuming a fish oil, you want to make sure there's no mercury, no lead, no toxins. And when you look at the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, they actually featured the Neolife salmon oil as being safe for pregnant moms. Because again, there's a lot of fish oils out there that aren't safe for pregnant moms. So when you take this amazing pack and you add it with the protein shake, we call this a breakfast solution. And when you're looking at hormones, and remember that hormone recipe, well, all the nutrients are found in this pack called breakfast solution that completes that hormone recipe. And we call it core nutrition. It's the foundation. And when you're looking at things like postpartum depression, postpartum OCD, and postpartum anxiety, there's a lot of women that are really, really struggling. And we've had amazing results and stories and testimonials of people even just taking that breakfast solution. And the omega-3 fish oil plays such a big role in this as well. And I'm just going to briefly introduce to you, Stephanie. I've known Stephanie and her mom, Susan Adams, for many, many years. And Stephanie's a nurse as well. And I hung out with her when we were at an event, team retreat actually, in Alabama last year. And boy, she shared her journey and her story on pregnancy and babies and how passionate she is in helping women balance and regulate your hormones and have healthy pregnancies. And on top of the breakfast solution, if women are really, really struggling with their hormones, like severe menopausal symptoms or severe PMS and, hot flashes, she always recommends adding a few extra things. But I always tell people, start with the basics and see what it does. And these kind of could be your stack on products. Vitamin E was something my mom and my aunt really needed, and they sailed through menopause. I didn't really have any of those symptoms. So I sailed through menopause, but I had been on the products longer than my mom and my aunt, right? And even minerals, multi-mineral was something that really helped both my mom and my aunt just balance their hormones. And also vitamin E. Vitamin E also is fabulous. It's your master antioxidant. It also helps with immunity. And for women that want to have that, preventing the stretch marks and tearing during pregnancy, this is something that, I don't know if you guys knew, but I had gained over 60 pounds during my pregnancy. And when I got that big, I was really worried about stretch marks. I didn't have not one stretch mark. And I took vitamin E during my pregnancy. So I know that this played a huge, huge role in helping in that area. And what's nice about Neolife vitamin E, it's not unlike any vitamin E that's out there. This is kind of techie, but there's actually 8 parts that make up a whole vitamin E. They're called tocopherols and tocotrienols, and we have all 8. Nobody has 8. Usually when you buy vitamin E anywhere else, you're maybe getting 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts, but nobody has 8. So something, again, that's very unique to the Neolife product. So when you look at menopause, right? Nobody has time for that, right? Well, vitamin E can really help with hot flashes. And this is something that we've experienced with women sharing amazing stories and testimonials over the years. And And if you're somebody that's really stressed out, and I know Rachel talked about stress and your adrenals. Well, I had adrenal gland exhaustion. My job was really, really stressful. And that nutritional support just really, really helped me. And when you look at depression and anxiety, 1 in 8 women experience depression in their lifetime, and twice the rate as men. And when you're looking at your mind and mood, B vitamins also play a really big role in regulating that. Our vitamin B is water soluble. It gets depleted very quickly, especially when you're under stress, or if you're having, if you're not well, if you're taking medications such as birth control, even it destroys all the vitamins and alcohol and caffeine as well. So supplementing with a B vitamin, especially if you're under a lot of stress or feeling stress, RB vitamins, it's time released, and what an incredible product. I remember my cousins telling me that when their mom, my aunt, got vitamin B, they said, my mom's not a bee anymore. So you can tell you what that word means, but they noticed a huge difference in their mom's attitude and the way she dealt with stuff going on in their home. So vitamin B, fabulous for stress, and also really important to prevent spina bifida, especially before pregnancy, to have enough folate in your diet and during pregnancy, especially the first trimester. So this is such an important nutrient for those of you that are planning on having children. So this is our multi-mineral. Again, also helps with hormones and hormonal balance. And again, the minerals are chelated. They are all in there: the selenium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, iodine, calcium, fluorine, silicon, and zinc. So these are all the chelated minerals that are in this amazing product that help with pregnancy. And if you are a vegetarian, this is something that's really necessary to supplement with. And again, it's chelated for better absorption. So it's very, very highly absorbable. So a lot of minerals aren't absorbed as efficiently in the body. And chelated minerals absorb 6 times more than non-chelated minerals. So this is an incredible product. And sometimes it comes along with hormonal imbalance, or women that are struggling is weight loss. I found the protein shake, when I added that to my life, it really helped to manage my weight over the years. But those of you that are really struggling, you can replace 2 meals. We have an incredible weight loss journey, and it helps to regulate blood sugar, put you in a fat burning zone, and prevents fat storage. So that's how the protein shake is designed. And we've had amazing results with women losing weight, but keeping it off. Because there's a lot of systems out there that work, but not very many where women keep the weight off. Okay, and this is more of a lifestyle, healthy eating. Again, some amazing stories, and the breakfast solution, or that weight loss solution, is definitely just a great foundation to help in that area as well. But I'm going to introduce Cheyenne. Cheyenne is a friend of Shelley's who's not here this evening. She's actually in the Cayman Islands, and Cheyenne has a beautiful story, because Hashimoto's and PCOS is another challenge that many of our younger generation are struggling with as well. So here's Cheyenne. I just hope I got it in the right spot here. And Cheyenne to Neolife, and some of you might know, but Cheyenne is our hairdresser, and she's on her feet hours and hours a day, loves her job. And I know she shares with me that if it wasn't for the good nutrition, that she wouldn't be able to be doing what she's doing, her passion, and creating amazing hair. So anyways, I'm going to have her share her story, and it's quite powerful. This was only after 2 weeks of her using Neolife.
My name is Cheyenne. I've been using Neolife just for 2 weeks now, which doesn't seem like a long time, but you'd be surprised. I have 3 different autoimmune disorders. I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, positive rheumatoid arthritis factors in my joints, and I have PCOS. I am 25, and just being on Neolife for 2 weeks, I already eliminated. I have coffee out of my diet. Like, I have so much energy. I used to be sore all the time, which I'm already noticing that's going away. My energy levels, like I said, with my PCOS and my Hashimoto's. So I have a lot more life in me, and yeah. Oh, I'm on Pro Vitality Pack, so the breakfast pack. So I take the grain oils, the carotenoids, the salmon, and the multivitamin, and the shakes every day, and I love it.
And I just saw her. This is probably about 4 years ago now, and she's doing absolutely amazing. And she's so grateful for how these products have just helped to keep her condition under control. And that's so, so important. So again, the hormone recipe that we've been talking about, we've got your breakfast solution. And then for those of you that have, or that need more support, I always say try it for a few months and just see what happens. You might need to add more grain oils. You might need to add extra minerals, extra grain oils, B vitamins. And then we have a product called Feminine Herbal Complex, FHC. And I'm going to have my sister's going to share actually her story as well. And then I have a couple more. So here we go.
Yeah, so I don't have to read, this is my story up here right now, but I'm not going to read the whole story. I'm going to talk about what I've been through. So I did, when I was younger, I was a massive, like I was into dieting and exercise, and I did a lot of too much dieting and exercising where it really affected my health. I would lose like too much weight, and then I'd exercise too much, and it got to the point where when I hit probably in my 30s, my periods just stopped, and it was really concerning because I knew it wasn't normal and I didn't know what to do. So I had gone to, like, I waited, and then I was hoping it would just come back, but then it didn't, and I went to a doctor, and they just put me on like estrogen pills. So I was on estrogen for probably I would say almost a year, and I still did not get my period. And I knew I heard bad things about taking estrogen, and it wasn't like healthy and everything. So I was kind of scared while I was taking it, but I just didn't. I thought, well, the doctor said I should take it, so maybe it will help me. Didn't get my period, and then I had talked to my sister, and I said, like I'm concerned, and like what should I do? And then she didn't realize that I hadn't had my period for that long either. So she's like, we sat down, and we kind of went through a plan of what I needed. And I was taking the vitamins, but I wasn't consistent. I was taking like here and there, a little bit of vitamin C, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like I wasn't consistently taking the vitamins. So Nada and I had talked, and as soon as I started on a program of the Formula 4, which had the grain concentrates and other things like the salmon oil with the grain with the essential fatty acids, and B vitamins and protein. And I really, really like stuck to this program of taking it consistently. And there was like 6 or 7 Formula 4 a day, and like 5 or 6 salmon oil a day. Like I just was really, I didn't want to be on the hormone therapy anymore. So it took about, I would say 6 months. And then I started to get my period normally. And it was like, it came back, and I was so excited. I called Nat. I was like over the moon excited. And then ever since then, like my period was on the mark, like every 26 days, it was like completely normal. And then I just never looked back. Like I was so excited.
And she had her first baby at 40 and second at 42. And I know some women are going, oh, I don't want to get my period. Well, let me tell you, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you need your period. It's later on in life that you don't want it anymore. But it was a beautiful journey. And we have so many testimonials to share, guys. And just a really quick one I want to share with you. This is a friend of mine, a police officer that I used to work with. His daughter couldn't get pregnant, and she was doing in vitro and looking at so many different things, and nothing worked. And then anyways, we put her on the products, and she had a baby and got pregnant, and she was so grateful. And she even sent me pictures of her ultrasound with her first baby. But then what's really cool is I got a message from her last year saying, guess what? I done some research on CoQ10 that was recommended by our naturopath, and she started taking our CoQ10, and she got pregnant immediately with her second. So amazing. There's some really good research by Dalen Barton, a certified herbalist, that has done some research, and also Christine Traxler, an MD, that does some research on CoQ10 and the importance of pregnancy. And our CoQ10 is incredible. It just supports the cells at the cellular level. It's natural. and it works. It's bioavailable. And also Joanne Watson. I mean, Mary Ellen, I know this is one of your dearest friends and customers, and I just thought maybe I know I tried reaching out to her. I'm not sure if Mary Ellen is still on this evening, but Mary Ellen, Joanne Watson has been with us for I think over 30 years now. And when she came to Mary Ellen and talked about her HRT and her oh, there you are. Are you there?
Yeah, when I met Joanne, she was telling me, you know, she'd been on HRT and her doctor said you have to come off of it. And she panicked. She said, you know what? I can't come off of it because I have such bad hot flashes. And she was like in her late, like, so she'd be like in her mid 30s at this point. And I said to her, I said, you know, if we can get your body balanced, you will get you know, get everything will work out again. So anyways, here's her testimony. So she was introduced actually by Susan Faulkner, and she was very skeptical when she heard that the products might help with her menopausal symptoms. She'd already had good results with the Neolife symptoms as far as headaches and knee problems, and so she decided to give it a try. And within 6 months of taking Formula 4, that has, of course, those lipids and phytosterols, Neolife Shake, the Feminine Herbal Complex, Vitamin E, and Multi-Mineral and Cruciferous, she was able to get completely off HRT. None of her symptoms have come back, and even to this day, she is totally fine. Like, and she's much older than 57 now, and she just loves the products.
Thank you so much, Mary Ellen. Yeah, she reached out to me last year and we talk every once in a while, and she's so grateful that she was able to. And this, she said, this is one of her favorite products was the Feminine Herbal Complex. This is what really helped her on top of that, those other products that she talked about. And these are some of the herbs that are in this product. So, you know, if you're at that stage where, you know, they're wanting to put you on HRT and you're wanting to avoid it, then maybe this is something that you might want to take a serious look at, our Feminine Herbal Complex. And as you can see, I mean, we have so many products to support many areas of our health, digestion, inflammation, and, you know, hormonal balance. But we always focus on the foundation. Look at the foundation first, you know, start there, see what it does. And then if you need more, you can always add more. There's always people here to help you and guide you in that direction to see what will be a better fit for you. And you're probably wondering, some of our guests that are on this evening are probably wondering, how do I get a hold of these amazing products? Well, you know what, to become a member of our wellness club, it's free. As soon as you join, you can get either 10 or 20% discount. You can double your savings. You can get all your shipping back. You can even get some of your products for free. We have an amazing referral program. We have fitness challenges and weight loss challenges that you can be a part of as well. And these are the health packs, again, that are most popular. Like our vitality pack is fantastic. If you add the shakes, it's called a breakfast solution. And if you're thinking you'd like to lose more than 10 pounds, well, then our weight loss solution is amazing. You're doing 2 protein shakes a day. And we do have a community on Facebook. And if you'd like to look more or read more stories and testimonials, we have over 11,000 people in this group now that are sharing their stories and testimonials as well. And, you know, we do have another option. You know, when I looked at this 35 years ago, I wasn't looking for an income opportunity. I was really looking for something to help my mom and myself with our health. And as I saw the results and started helping and sharing others, I got really excited about impacting people's lives. So there is another option. If you or someone you know really enjoys helping others, this is an incredible opportunity for you to generate a part-time income, or that could build to a full-time income. Like myself, I just wanted to leave my police career and just have my own time and be my own boss. So it all depends on where you're at in your life. But if you just like to try the products, become a member for free, give them a try. You will notice a difference. If you're curious about the income opportunity, just ask the person invited you, and they can help you and guide you in that direction as well. And if you just want to learn more, this is what we do. We help people understand the Neolife difference and how these products can impact your life. And every Thursday we do different health talks. So I want to thank everybody that joined us this evening to share. I really appreciate you all. I will stop the recording and open up to any questions that you may have. So thank you again for joining us this evening.